Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from around the world. I want to say welcome once again to our weekly market analysis. So, in our usual manner, we'll be looking at the markets this week. We'll be looking at what the market did last week in our expectation for this new week. All right. So I'm on the DXY, the dollar index, pardon me. I want to say dollar cost average. So the dollar, index. And last week we saw the dollar bottom, shoot up around 98.26. Although we are still within the support area, I actually expect price to hold around this zone. That what I mean is I expect price to keep pushing up for the dollar around this zone, as long as our support holds around 97.8. All right. If you go to the weekly time frame, you will see that I already have it marked out. So and I'm still holding some positions on other major dollar pair based on what the dollar index is doing. But then this is the this is the this is the financial market. Anything can happen, right? So hopefully this new week there's no major. I think there's a major news until I think that will be on Wednesday, as you can see on my screen. We'll have the core CPI, which is also a very major news. And also next week, Wednesday, that's on the 18th, we'll also have the fund rate, the FOMC meeting, determination if they will be determining, they'll be doing a meeting to determine if they should cut, rates or they should allow rate to remain the same. I think so far so good. The expectation is that the rates will remain the same, since they believe that inflation has not gotten to the point where they want it to get to, so they don't want to cut rate. Although the sitting president of the United States is really pushing hard at the cut rate, but the Fed president, has insisted that the rate is going to remain the same until they see some level of changes, in the economy. I haven't said that. So, like I said, we have CPI on Wednesday. As long as this support holds, I'm expecting the dollar to push at least to this range in the short term. I'm expecting price to push to this range. If you look at the weekly time frame and you look at this setup, you will notice that what we have here is looking more like a reversal pattern around this zone. Like I mentioned, as long as support holds around 97.7, I strongly, believe that we should have a push up to the upside. And also concerning the fact that the Fed, said the rate to remain the same. So that means we won't really expect a major dramatic event for the DXY. I would say that let's check what gold is doing. As you can see, gold is reacting to what the dollar is doing. You see, we're having some major pullback on gold. If you go to the weekly time frame, see that we are building. It's looking like we might have some pushback. Although gold is still bullish, super bullish. Like I've been saying on this channel, I don't like looking for picking the tops when it comes to gold, especially the way gold has been behaving, since I think this is since 2020. It's better to just wait for a pullback. And as you can see, I'm not drawing that trend line perfectly. I'm just trying to let you see what gold has been doing. Gold has been super up. I mean, this is super bullish, and then we've been breaking all-time high after all-time high for gold. We might see a little pullback to this, probably to this area. If I go to the lower, let's go to the 4 hour time frame. Okay, where I have this drawn out around 3.11, and price might bounce around there before we see price, pushing it to the upside. I think because of the way the dollar is behaving and the fact that the Fed has insisted that they're not going to call rates, so a lot of people are, a lot of investors are becoming, they're becoming more comfortable with pulling their funds out of gold. For gold actually do well anytime there's chaos. Maybe there's war. Maybe the economy is not doing well. A lot of a lot of major investors, put their money into gold as a means of protecting their, as a safe haven. That means to protect their funds from the volatility of currency based on what the economy is doing, especially the US economy. So right now we have seen a major cool off, a little cool off from gold. But like I said, we might pull down to this zone and then bounce up from there. All right. So I'm still super bullish on gold. For Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is still looking super bullish. We've been pushing the upside for Bitcoin as well. I mean, I mapped out this sometimes. I think this was like some couple of weeks, and price actually came there and bounced up from there. So Bitcoin has been showing some level of bullishness, and the news around Bitcoin, BlackRock, and other major big investors are actually doing a lot of DC into Bitcoin big time. And the news around Bitcoin has been super bullish for some couple of months right now. And that's why you see that investors are really, really jumping in. Anytime Bitcoin pull back and find a major support, they buy. We can say that for some time, the $100,000 range has been support, rather price range has been a major support for Bitcoin. Price comes there and bounce up. Price comes there and bounce up. But if we look at technically, actually, if you look at the weekly time frame, we can see that we price is actually pulling down, is pulling back. But as long as this holds, I'll be careful buying, playing around bullish sentiment around this zone, except I see a major pullback, probably a major pullback to this zone. If I see a major pullback to this zone and price bounce around, like so, creating higher low, then I'll be looking for another opportunity to jump in on Bitcoin and buy. But for now, I'll be sitting on my hands. That's more. It's the other scenario that can play out is that we can see price, blow off top. Price can blow off top, and create a new high and come back to test the previous high, which now acts as a support, and then continue to the upside. I've seen so many reports, and from what I've seen, a lot of uh, analysts are saying that Bitcoin should top out this cycle around between $120,000 and $130,000, and I think that is not far. It's not far away again because we touched 112 or thereabout, so our price can still shoot out from there. All right. So having said that, let's quickly look at what EURUSD has been doing. For EURUSD, I'm presently in a sell, sell trade. I took a sell. I think that was on Thursday, and I'm still holding that position. My stop loss is above this zone. And I'm expecting price to really push down, to this zone for EURUSD, because I feel we have touched. As you can see, where I marked out here, these are structural liquidity. Price has actually kissed that zone. We might see price, we are likely to see price pull down to this zone, especially based on the fact that the dollar seems to be showing strength. All right. So, but my stop loss is around this zone. In case price push to this side, kick me out, I'll wait for another opportunity to either short or buy, depending on what the market is doing. But if you look at the structure that we're having right now, this is looking like we might still push down to the, push back to the downside going forward in the coming days. All right. For pounds USD as well, we have an inducement on. I'm not in pounds, some of my. I think I'm in pounds in some of my accounts. I'm still holding some sell positions in pounds, but we saw an inducement liquidity happen this week. This is where I marked out price. Actually came here and took out a lot of people and then induced them, and then it's pushing back to the downside. On Friday we came down a little bit. On If you look at the weekly time frame, see that price touched 1.35. I actually feel in my my and this is a sentiment, my personal sentiment, that we should be seeing price pulling back a little bit for pounds USD. But like I said earlier, this is the market, anything can happen. So, but my eyes are a very, I'll be waiting for, confirmation this week when market open to see what price will do around this zone, before I add more position to myself. All right. Let's look at what the JPYs are doing quickly before we call it Let's look at the JPY index. JPY index also is pulling back, and that's why we've seen pairs like USD JPY has been pushing to the upside. If you check the USD pair, the price bounces off here. Last week I took a buy, and I'm still holding that position for USD JPY. Price came and tapped into structural liquidity. As you can see, I already have it marked up for some time. Price tapped into it, went up and tapped into it, and then we are on our way up. So if you want to join our community, I'll be dropping the link in the in the description below. I don't want this video to be too long, because I believe, as a trader, trading is a very can be very boring when you are doing it all by yourself. You want to be around the community where other people are also interacting and also encouraging you. So I'll be rounding up here. I don't want this video to be too long. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Thank you.